The roof was completely torn off of this barn. Old says it's worth $60,000 and has been in this family for generations. Look at some of the debris that's just on the floor here.
Developers say they plan to break ground on this land behind me.
And just to give you guys some perspective, these are the remnants of that tree. They're half my size.
It looks like the end of a Jenga game with the remnants of the car that hit it sprinkled in.
Here's that tree. I'm on Chavers Place, and they say it's a maple tree, and it split and just wreaked havoc on this neighborhood. And then when it fell, it ended up on this house over here that's now been tarped.
You can see where this window was shattered in this vacant business. They're only seeing about 3,000 to 5,000 bushels, making this year's peach crop a poor contender. The RVs you're seeing right here sinking in this water used to be their homes. Some residents tell me they have nowhere to go.
And what the thieves left with is a couple of $100s from the cash registers, but the damage they left behind is much more expensive. Many of these units completely boarded up. Jose, police are on the hunt for 40-year-old Andre Longmore.
No one, not a dog, not a cat, should be subjected to these types of living conditions.
No air conditioning.
2 units in the window. That's the only AC that I've ever received since I've been here.
No hot water.
You heat your water and then pour it in the tub.
And for some tenants, no hope, especially after a fire
started in this apartment in the back room.
caused the city to deem Jennifer Battle's building as unsafe to live. She was forced to leave abruptly with only the clothes on her back.
Power company came out, took out all the meters, and told us that we had to vacate that day.
Now she fears the rest of the complex will meet the same fate. First, tenants say they took their concerns to property owners, Millennia, then to the City Housing Authority. Finally, the problem made it to the city. A spokesperson for Griffin says code enforcement will join Millennia representatives Thursday for an inspection of all 80 units.
We are fighting to have these slumlords held accountable.
From rats to roaches and raw sewage, tenants have been complaining for months, but they don't want to leave because they have nowhere to go.
I feel like I'm gonna be put out.
The mere thought brings all 3 of these women to tears. Lily Brown says she's disabled, depends on Social Security, and can't afford to go anywhere else. Battle is crashing with a friend as no one has offered her any compensation. Community advocate Dr. Roshunda Jones says there's a good chance officials will condemn all of the buildings. And to that, the residents say absolutely not.
We're hoping and praying that they pass the front passes so they can build our community back.
At least 6 punches sent shockwaves on social media.
Did y'all have to constantly punch him in his ribs like that?
Video of 22-year-old Andre Casey's arrest made it back to his mother, Dorothea, and was shared more than 100,000 times.
It's almost like a George Floyd incident here in my hometown. You understand, knees on the back, repeatedly punching him.
Griffin police say it all started when Andre was seen banging on a door Saturday at an apartment on Haskell Ward Drive in Fairmont. His mother says that home belongs to his child's grandmother. Officers also say Andre has a criminal history.
I'm not saying my son is an angel. He did have a violation of probation warrant against him.
But it's what happened after that Dorothea says isn't adding up. Police say Andre tried to run. When they got him on the ground, they say he refused to put his hands behind his back. Police say that's when officers hit him with closed fists. What happened next is even more confusing. Police took Andre to the hospital but say he didn't cooperate with medics. Then officers say the jail rejected him because he was under the influence of Percocet. During the drive back to the hospital, police say Andre, while handcuffed, managed to hide a gun even after officers searched his pockets.
I don't know if it's set up. I would hate to think law enforcement would do that, but if he's tied, handcuffed to the back, how could that be?
Casey is facing a number of charges, including felony obstruction, but his mother says she won't accept the police's version of the story. Activist Ray Muhammad says you can count on him to hold the officers accountable if the chief does not.
And we, the community, will not settle for anything less than a termination of those 3 officers.
If these walls could talk.
To walk these halls, you know how to give back. You know how to reach back.
They'd walk you through the history
Dr. Martin Luther King,
in the hallways
Juanita Abernathy,
of Booker T. Washington High
Gladys Knight,
over 100 years.
Maynard Jackson.
Many legends walked through those halls during a time when opportunities for blacks were scarce.
You had to pay to get into Washington High School, $50 to come to school, and now education is free.
It became Atlanta's first school for black students, a school Valerie Williams is proud to say she walked out of with her diploma.
We are scrappers, we are fighters, we are grinders.
Just like Booker T. Washington, who was an educator and one of the most influential spokesmen for black people. His namesake is still trying to usher young people like Belle Williams into adulthood, ready to face a tough world.
It just gives you more pressure to be great and be better.
Born from Washington's vision to the tears of joy falling from his great-great-granddaughter's eyes, full of pride, knowing the impact he continues to have on students.
It's an engravement of his philosophies, of the standard that he set well before his time.
Washington lifted the veil of ignorance, and members of the Georgia Historical Society lifted another veil, showing off the school's historical marker, preserving the history in these hallways forever.
It is important that students know the history so that they don't repeat it, so that they know the possibilities.
In Atlanta, Tresia Bowles, 11 Alive News.